Welcome back, everyone, to Bloodbath Tactics. It is your boy Ben in the hot seat. No cast today, but we do have Mr. Fraser.
Hello, everybody. How are
What's
you?
up, Fraser?
I can't respond. That's okay. You got Adam as well.
And we do have a special guest, Mr. Adam.
I finally made it.
You made it. Well, you made it back. You've been on the show once before.
Yeah, but new studio, new digs.
New studio, new digs, and new faction focus. We did previously have Mr. Adam Green, a member of Team Canada, illustrious local Calgary player, one of the best. I know we like to give him shit, but
he's looking at me when he's asking that
because I want Fraser to say that Adam is one of the best.
Oh, he's pretty good, you know.
That's basically like saying he's the best. That's as good as it gets with Fraser. Yeah. So we want to have him back on, member of Team Canada, one of the best players in Calgary for sure. We had him on for the Astra Militarum faction focus, but that was, it
was almost a year ago.
Was it almost exactly?
Yeah.
There you go. A year ago. Lots has changed. The meta has changed. The armies have changed. And we're now having Mr. Adam on for the Votann faction focus.
He's known to bounce between all the best armies in the game.
Oh, how long have you owned Yunari?
We don't bring that up.
Let's do the
let's not point fingers about meta chasing. I don't think anybody would say that Votann is lighting up the meta right now either, though they are very good.
Well, you talk to the Germans, they'll say otherwise.
Right, you were saying what's the German guy?
Tim Schneider.
Tim Schneider.
Yeah,
is just a absolute beast, eh?
Yeah.
So Votann's in a good spot, I think, in the meta. What do you think generally? Just before we get into the specifics, where this is our Votann faction focus. We do want to get into a little bit of your team's experience over the weekend because you just came back from a team event in. Is it in Kelowna or is it Lake Country or whatever? Basically Kelowna.
The greater Kelowna area.
Right.
Yeah,
okay. And you did play Votann there.
Did play Votann there, yeah.
Very broad strokes. How are Votann feeling in the current meta?
Not too bad actually, because especially in teams,
sure.
They kind of just have no bad matchups. There's a few tougher ones, but that you can get through, and they actually have a great game into orcs right now, which are
right. Of course, the big boogeyman right now.
Yeah, they kind of just have they have DACA themselves.
They have lots of DACA,
and all their profiles just line up so awesome into orcs. I think right now we're kind of seeing this MSU meta.
Sure.
If you want to call orcs MSU, you kind of can, right?
I'd say so.
Tank bustas.
Yeah.
And then you got all these aspect warriors running around, causing trouble.
He's looking at you when he says aspect warriors.
I don't even know what those
Doesn't even know what aspect warriors. Never met one in my life. Before we get too deep into it, I do want to remember to plug the current studio. We are filming out of the Calgary podcast studio. If you guys are looking to do a project, please. I don't know. Leave a comment. We can leave contact information down in the description. Fantastic guys, fantastic studio. So come check it out if you are local to Calgary and want to do a project. Easy peasy. Sweet. So Votann, they're positioned well against orcs, and their position and demons. Okay, so let's start again very broad. What is, for those who may not be familiar, because I'll admit Votann is one of the factions that I have the least reps into. I think every time, except for maybe once I've played Votann, it's against you. I keep running into you first round of like every GT we play in somehow, which is great. It's like playing the final boss on level 1.
Yep.
And getting punched in the head a little bit, which is totally fair.
Described it as like when you play Dark Souls and there's that first like scripted boss you're supposed to lose against.
Right. Oh no, that feels bad. Fraser, help me.
No, we have the same team name, so it's impossible for us to run into each other.
Sorry, right.
This never happens.
That's the secret. I just need to put in Prairie Fire, right? Prairie Fire Wargaming. All right, next time.
That's what we all do, so we don't run into each other.
But for people who are not familiar with Votann, what is their army rule? Let's start there.
Their army rule kind of is based around this token system, the judgment token. Basically, you talk shit.
Is it a judgment token?
Judgment token.
I call it grudge tokens and grudgement tokens, but it's judgment.
Stern glare, yeah.
Very stern glares.
Yeah, basically the army rule now comes with 2 tokens. This is a recent switch on the last balance update where you get to place tokens on enemy units. They start with 2 when you place them. And basically you're getting +1 to hit with 1 token and then +1 to hit and +1 to wound with 2 tokens.
Right.
And those 2 +1 hits don't combine. It is just +1.
Right. And previous to the most recent change, you didn't get any of these tokens at the start of the game for the army rule. That was just attached to the detachment itself.
Yeah, and then more of the army rule goes into like when you die, you hand out a token and
more token generation.
It's all about tokens.
Okay, so it's all about the judgment tokens giving you +1 to hit and eventually +1 to wound, which is as everybody can obviously assume, that's a good buff. Those are very good buffs.
Yeah.
Plus one to wound especially is a very good buff.
The army rule is something else actually, and it's the detachment rule. Either way, all you have to know is about tokens, and the rest of it doesn't actually matter.
So there's some interaction between the army rule and the detachment rule with judgment tokens.
Yeah, and like right now we're still one of the index armies.
Sure, right.
And the original index detachment is awesome. Like literally like a top 5, top 8 detachment in the game just based on the strats.
Mm-hmm.
And then, before Christmas, before we got all these Grotmus detachments, I was kind of like, we could use a couple rerolls. Votann are very light on rerolls.
Right.
Let's get some rerolls, maybe like a little bit extra AP. And that's exactly what the new Grotmus detachment does. You literally get reroll 1s and +1 AP when you're shooting the closest target.
Okay, great. Sounds great. But
on launch, you didn't get to place out any tokens.
Right, yeah.
So you would basically have to lose half your army to get access to this +1 hit and wound, which is really when you feel like your army is moving and grooving, is when you're shooting your token stuff.
Of course, yeah, for sure. Right. Because previous to the most recent update, the 4 tokens that you gave out at the beginning were actually tied to the detachment. Now they've put 2 in the detachment and 2 in the army roll. Yep. So this new Grotmus gets 2 at least. Is it playable now? Is it even like a factor, or kind of not really? Or
maybe if a meta goes somewhere really extreme, that new detachment really wants to use one of our mainstay units, the Hearth Guard, which is kind of like mini Terminators.
Right.
They have a lot of shots, and they make use of a lot of the rules and enhancements in that detachment. And then the Terminators are really special at killing like horde armies.
Right. It's just a ton of shots.
How are the stratagems in the new detachment versus the old one?
I can't even think of them off the top of my head.
It was bad, Fraser. He didn't play it.
It's like you get a fallback shoot and charge strat, but it's strictly worse than the main index one in that like only infantry can use it, whereas anything can use it in the base one. So
that's just strictly
worse. It really
worse.
wants you to play, your infantry, your heavy Terminators, your stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so that's like broad strokes. And you mentioned, so they're good into, you said like orcs and MSU kind of style stuff. Good into like Eldar, like Yunari? Question mark?
Kind of yet to be seen.
Okay.
We will find out this weekend.
Testing required.
They definitely have the tools. I think a lot of it comes down to the player playing the Votann has to play around. They play my much more honest game of Warhammer.
Right.
And you have to kind of just...
punch
the Yunari players like army in the face
until
and
they die.
Erase those tricks.
Right. Yeah, because movement tricks is not what Votann does.
That's not what we do.
Votann does a lot of one damage shooting, basically.
We're just really stoic. Actually, a lot of 2 damage shooting. That's kind of their bread and butter.
Is it? Okay, fair enough.
You think about the bikes having their auto cannons.
Okay.
All of the bolt cannons and the Tow-Mater autocannon attached to the Hecaton land fortress.
Even the repositioning bikes gives you a ton of utility into a lot of matchups.
Yeah, you kind of become secretly speedy.
Sure, right. That's your like movement jank basically right there.
Yeah.
So for those not familiar, what's the deal with bikes? What's their output? What's their rule? What do they do?
So bikes are like the biggest thing to kind of know about Votann is it is a very limited army in that there's maybe only 16 data sheets, and
if that,
like 6 or 7 of them are not,
characters.
even if that
it might be like 12
it might 12
yeah,
and 6 of them are characters, so you're working with a pretty limited pool. So your bikes are these kind of hover bikes that come with these 3 shots, strength 7, AP 1, 2 damage autocannons, and they have a really great list of war gear. A kind of a mainstay of that one is they come with this searchlight that gives you +1 to hit against stealth. So really awesome for
just counteract stealth basically.
Yeah, like people can't pop smoke,
and ignores cover as well, or is
ignores cover. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Obviously, when you start losing bikes, you start losing some of these abilities. But
sure.
So
you get to take like one searchlight on one of the bikes.
Yeah, one of the bikes has a searchlight. One of them has if you spend a CP on the group on a 5-up, you keep the CP. It comes up a bunch.
Cool.
You use a lot of stratagems on the bikes.
Yeah, and in a world where war gear is free, you just take whatever's the best stuff. One of each.
Just fill up the chart.
Great game design.
Yeah, I've only ever played 10th edition, but people like hearing stories about how like you kind of had to nickel and dime your war gear into your list and stuff, and that was kind of a big list building consideration.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very different world.
Nobody had 1975 point lists back then, and it was a glorious time.
Right, for sure.
You had 1999 lists.
Yeah, exactly.
right down by one. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 3-man bikes only get 2 of the war gear, so you either get your ignore cover, your CP back, or your searchlight.
Right.
Usually on the 3-man bike, you go without the radio because you're less likely to spend the big strats.
Sure,
on them.
sure.
So, yeah. So they basically make use of uppy downy, which is just a great army rule. They are a bit restricted that they come into table edges.
Right. Okay. So they are the ones that have to be closer to the edge to get picked up, and then they come on normal strat reserve, basically.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So some people use them like the 3-mans for kind of like pocket actions when it calls for it. I'm a big fan of the big 6-mans. They make better use of the stratagems. When you're not ready to use them, maybe in a round, you can use them to easily string out a whole table edge.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, just a
huge, because it's a 6-man, right? You don't have to have 2-man coherency, so you can just stretch.
Oh yeah, with the big wide oval bases
I know
too.
they're only like a 4-up save, but they're like T6, aren't they?
They're T6, 3 to 4 wounds depending on if you've got the minigun bike or not.
Yeah, they're not the most resilient thing in the world.
T6 isn't bad.
T6 isn't bad. T6
and
helps.
There's a lot of like anti-infantry shooting and big anti-tanks kind of wasted on them. So
sure. Oh yeah.
Unless you have like autocannons, it's kind of like a weird.
I was gonna say my one saving grace in the few times I've played knights into your Votann is the Helverins. With the flat 3 damage 9 strength attacks. Anti-fly, if I'm in the right spot, yeah.
Oh
you almost don't even need it because you're only on 3s anyway, but then 2s is better.
I've played probably 4 matches against knights in the last month.
Right.
And it's just like my bikes have to just wait until kind of the dust is starting to settle and they can actually show up without getting just blasted.
Yeah.
I've just played. We can kind of.
Well, I was gonna say we will get into it because you did play a Knights player this past weekend.
Yeah.
So hold that thought.
He doesn't want to get into that.
Hold that thought.
They don't miss.
No, please.
So okay, we'll get into that when we get into it. But so bikes are a mainstay, I think, of the army for sure. What else is like? I mean, like I said, the index is not a super deep one.
Yep.
So what are your other kind of auto includes, must have to make the army work kind of thing?
We can almost kind of do like hey, everyone pull out your phone at home and let's write a list together because there
it's pretty easy.
Few units. So we're gonna look at we can kind of start with the character roster.
Sure.
And in my mind, there's kind of 3 to choose from, and one of them only really comes if you're bringing the Hearthguard, the Terminators.
Okay.
Your mainstays are your Iron Here champions. They are also kind of Terminator bodies.
Okay.
They have great impact mortal wounds. If they're leading a unit, you get reroll charges.
Nice.
A 2-up, 4-up, 5 wounds.
Still pretty slow though.
Very slow. 5 inch move. Yeah. Right. When they're by themselves, they're actually a great unit to also just take by themselves. You don't always have to have them lead a unit. They actually make pretty great little action units. Sweet. And great carriers for enhancements.
Sure.
They make really great use of that.
And they so Terminator bodies, but they do have an invuln, right?
They do have an
invuln. But the Termies, like the Terminator equivalents, don't.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So basically all of the sergeants and leaders all kind of choose between these crests. Like on the Terminator based ones, you choose between a 4-up invuln on that unit, like that model, or the ability to deep strike.
Is one of them called like the weave field?
That's the 4-up invuln one.
Weave field?
Weave.
Oh, weave.
Yeah.
Weave field. That's it. Weave.
And then you can also choose like the teleport crest, which gives you deep strike. You have to choose deep strike.
Okay, so it's an option to choose deep strike, but he wouldn't confer it to his unit, but the unit you put him in does have deep strike, or does it not?
So that's where you really get into it.
Okay, got it. Let's get into it.
So if you're taking a unit of Hearthguard, you're usually attaching a character because they grant a -1/2 wound when they're being shot at something with greater strength.
Right, sure.
So typically you're taking on your sergeant of the actual Hearthguard unit a teleport crest, so that the unit gets deep strike if you want to ingress them, deep strike, whatever.
Right.
And then the character, either you're giving them the champion, who would then just take his own weave field to give himself the invuln, because the unit already has now deep strike, or you're taking a call, who then can take a rampart crest, which gives the unit the 5-up invuln.
Okay,
so
got it.
Our Hearthguard do not start with an invuln. You're basically buying a character to give them their -1 to wound.
Gotcha.
Their invuln, lethal hits.
But you have a 2-up, and you have an AOC strat as well.
The index detachment.
And cover is like candy.
Sure, yeah, and 2-up saves are hugely valuable for sure, 100%.
That's another big bonus of, I guess I kind of forgot to mention, a big bonus of Votann is that when we're writing this list, we're going to talk about units. Either they don't have AP, so cover doesn't really matter,
Right.
or they ignore cover.
Right.
Like literally almost
Which
every
is
unit.
fantastic. Yeah.
Or their AP is so high that cover is usually irrelevant.
Right.
So you functionally, it is almost like an ignores cover army.
Sure, it either doesn't care or it ignores it.
Yeah.
Or you're right, that's it. That's
That's
basically
it,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So sometimes you kind of watch your opponent fumble for cover, and it's like, hey man, this
don't
doesn't.
worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm
so
going to
much.
get you.
Don't stress.
You're fucked.
You're done for foul.
Sweet. Okay, so
judged.
bikes. We've got the. That's amazing. Bikes. Sorry, go ahead.
We alluded to the other characters there. So the Call is kind of the other one.
Mhm.
He really only shows up if you're bringing Hearthguard and you really want, like I said, the invuln,
right.
and lethals. It helps
Right.
them kind of swing up into, like I said, in the demon matchups when you got all the big Greedleys. The Hearthguard have a billion shots, and it just helps kind of force demons to make their saves.
Sure, right, yeah, because you just give them a bunch of lethals.
Yeah.
Right.
Your final character that you are often taking is it's like the Brokir Iron Master.
Okay.
He's a great little character unit because he comes with like this little squad of droids. So he's a 5-man character squad.
I have seen this guy, yeah.
And when you've got his little Iron Assistant, he auto heals all your vehicles, which you're taking lots of, auto 3. So he's a nice little just top up. Same thing.
healing.
He's also a great vessel for our best enhancement.
Which is?
It's called Appraising Glare.
I've heard you say that many times, and I'm like, yes.
It's an awesome. You basically at the start of your turn, you place a token down on an objective marker that you do not control.
Could it be your opponent's home? Is that legal? Is it?
Yeah, it has to be something. It
Just
can't
anything,
be
anything you don't control.
anything I don't
visible?
control.
No,
It doesn't have to be visible either.
Just
which is great.
point at it.
Point at it.
I
not
know
my guy.
there's an objective.
No, the character
somewhere
points at it. He's appraising it.
And-
He's like, let me
And
see.
anyone on that objective then counts as having one additional token
while they're on it, or that sticks for the whole game.
while they're on it.
While they're on
Okay.
So this is a little bit choosy, but basically you use it to like call your shot. Like this is where I'm coming.
100%. Well, yeah, if you know where the action's going to be, right? Even preemptively sometimes, right? And you can change it every battle round?
Every battle round you can change it. Yeah,
Cool.
on your turn, on the play, like Votann's turn.
Got it.
So it's a great way to kind of keep manipulating your judgment tokens.
Does he have loan up? I'm asking for a friend.
No, Votann do not have loan up.
Oh, that's right. They have they have 0 loan up, eh?
Please don't shoot my
loan
guy.
up.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
0 loan up. They're not the sneakiest of faction.
All the homies are bringing death jesters. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Love a good death jester.
Man, we're jealous.
Yeah, you wish, eh?
jealous.
Well,
That's a grudge.
that's a grudge. That's a
go in
grudge.
the book.
Votann is one of, just to sidetrack real quick for a second, Votann is one of the newest factions, right? Well, Emperor's Children now. Got Emperor's Children.
Oh my
Calm down,
god.
And then Votann?
It's actually not yet, technically.
we've
so it is
been
Votann.
usurped.
Yeah,
Although
okay.
I do have a codex.
Like mid 9th edition or something like that?
Codex.
Wait, did that's true. Emperor's Children technically, well, kind of has a
Yeah,
codex.
they're not that good yet.
When did Votann come out? 9th edition? Beginning of 9th? Something like that?
Yeah, definitely. It was 9th edition.
Okay, gotcha.
Adam told me he pre-ordered them when they were like broken before.
I've heard the horrors of
This is a hoax made up by Big Eldar.
I have heard that in the beginning of Votann being released, it was like banned all over the place.
GW had to publish an apology on YouTube.
Right.
It was actually
Hey,
Jesus.
it takes a big man to admit when you're wrong.
And Games Workshop doesn't do that very often.
Games Workshop would just be
Doesn't do that at all.
infinitely making videos.
Just constantly, forever making videos saying we're sorry. Okay, cool. So that's characters.
We're gonna keep going on side tangents.
Of course,
the real
it's
reason
gonna happen.
I got into Votann was let's rewind. 7-8 months ago?
Okay.
That Orc Codex comes out.
Yes.
Greenskins, the green tide everywhere.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure.
We've already been talking about Hearthguard annihilate.
Just
orcs.
rinse them. Hey.
And they can actually kind of brawl with the Bully Boys list because the Bully Boy list was what were they? Mega Knobs with all 3-wound Terminator bodies.
Yep.
And then we'll get into the rest of the units and why they're so good. But another thing running around at that time was like the AC/DC units.
Yep.
Just like 60
the cultists. Yep.
lists.
I think in Calgary we're in like this weird bubble where we hear a lot of things like tearing up the meta,
And then we just don't see it.
But we don't get to see a lot of them because lots of people are like kind of like mainstay like faction specialists, and it's a competitive meta, but we don't often see like the big bad.
I think you're right. I think you're 100% correct. We've seen some orcs, but we haven't seen a lot of DACA. Well, I guess maybe this weekend's or this coming weekend. Is Fool's Errand this weekend?
Yeah, it is.
Holy crap, it's coming fast.
Yep.
Yeah. This will be kind of yet to be seen. I think I agree. There's a bit of a lag.
Your lists were due like yesterday.
Shoot. No, listen, I'm the one that reminds everybody for a list submission. I'm the one who helps everybody else. I don't forget. Yeah. It's in my calendar, man. Okay. I'm the psycho who wait, did I submit a list? Yeah. I think. Would you disagree that we have like a meta lag? I guess almost like.
No, I think we just have someone who plays every faction, and they're. Calgary, we do like to stay competitive, so they will bring what they feel is the best into the rest of our meta, right?
Right. I don't know. That's interesting because we haven't seen a ton of Yunari.
I want to shout out Aura for last tournament. He is like the best codex in the game, and he brings like an Astraeus instead of like
a Hammerfall bunker.
Oh, is it? Yeah, seriously, that's like awesome, like dope guy.
A friggin'
amazing painter.
What's it called? Not a fortress. What's the unit called?
Astraeus.
No. It's a structure. What's the unit called?
Hammerfall bunker.
I know. What's the type of unit?
Fortification.
It's fortification. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Someone brings a fortification to a tournament. That's a big dick energy right there. Can I say dick in the first 10 minutes? Thanks, production.
10 minutes.
Yeah. We're good. Sweet. So yeah, you initially picked him up because the Orc Codex came out and you wanted to melt some Warhorde. I think it was at the time, or green
HDC Warhorde.
Green Tide.
Because I brought him to that team tournament that we played at.
That's right.
And I think even Necrons were bringing forms of.
Yeah, Necrons had. Back then were we still Canoptech shenanigans? I think we were. Wraith. Canoptech was very strong. Yeah.
Well, Wraith's armor save's kind of like so you're probably doing work at the Wraith.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Votann have such a tight range band that they don't mind like being up close and.
Sure.
And brawling with you.
Yeah, actually, I think that was the first time I played your Votann, and I thought my Necrons had a good matchup, and I did not. You played it very well, obviously, but you have ignore mods in there somewhere. I can't remember.
That is another enhancement that you can put.
Yeah, okay.
Usually ends up on a unit of like big Terminators with that call. That's another great.
Rapid ingress and just beat up my Hecaton.
We do only move 5 inches.
Sure.
So when we get hit by, at the time, like there was basilisks everywhere. And
that's right.
I feel like Tau also had a minus movement. There's a lot.
There's a few that popped around, yeah.
So it was worth having. And
notably, Votann have it as well.
Actually, you know what it was for? Catans were out and about.
Yeah, there was tons of Catan. So Hypercrypt was a menace, all with like 3 Catans per list and stuff like that.
When you're dropping that Hearthguard unit, it's like 33 Volkite shots, hitting on 2s, lethaling 6s. You can sustain 2 if you need to. And then 10d6 more blast.
Sustain 2.
Oh, dude, it's wild.
He's been the bad guy this whole time.
Well, Votann don't get a lot of attention, but they do have, like I said, it's very, very limited codex, but a lot of good rules in there. Like a lot of good juicy bits in there.
Yeah.
They're just more of like a fringe faction that doesn't get a lot of hype, at least here in Calgary, here in North America. Things
kind of falling down around them too.
Of course, 100%. Mm-hmm. Back to units. Is there any other ones you want to highlight? You've mentioned them a few times, but the Terminator equivalents are called what specifically?
Hearthguard.
Those are Hearthguard.
They keep coming up. Yeah. A little less in favor right now, just as the meta has shifted. But
sure.
You still have your 30 at home, ready to show up
at any time. They can just drop in. Got it.
So then, like, we only have a single Battleline unit, Hearthkin Warriors.
Okay, got it.
Awesome unit, 100 points for 10 man, and then when you put them in our only transport, they get split up into little 5-mans. So you get these nice
2 transports.
Only one dedicated, but we have another vehicle.
Understood. Got it. Got it. Okay. One dedicated.
They're just an awesome little unit. Great little utility piece. They also, I find whenever you split them into a Sagittar,
right,
you end up with your 5-man guys who got no love, and the 5 guys who got
with all the guns,
all the love.
Yeah, for sure, of course.
And they've got a great list of weapons and kind of similar war gear like the bikes. Ignores cover, a feel no pain, and the CP generation back.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Very similar,
they sticky objectives when they start on them, so another great utility piece for being able to kind of push out if an enemy doesn't have the means to get to your backfield.
And they're like essentially as far as like their defensive abilities and stuff, they're Space Marine equivalent.
No, only 4-up armor, but
okay.
T5 comes up a lot.
Okay, so a little more toughness, a little less armor.
Yeah,
got it.
Like I said, your good squad has the feel no pain. Like, a feel no pain, you're trying to keep them cover, and T5 things like bolters. People have to commit a little bit more sometimes than they think they have to.
Right.
And,
2 wounds.
Just single.
Okay, just single. Okay, so not really Space Marine equivalent. The Terminators are 2 wounds. Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. I
we're
didn't know
short
that.
We're short.
They're
wound.
They're short.
Hey, come
A
on now.
wound. Yep, it's appropriate. Take that one to the bank,
5'4"
boys.
and lower.
Love it.
They're not
Okay.
tall enough to ride the bus.
Yeah.
Those are your Hearthkin warriors.
Hearthkin Warriors. That's our
Okay.
one
Battleline.
And most lists are taking 1 to 2 squads, so then you kind of split up with these 2 to 4 small 5
Into your Sagittars, which
Your
are a
Sagittars.
fantastic like staple of the faction, obviously.
Yep, 115 points. It's a little Tonka tough, just the tiniest little base, so you can really hide
dome,
these things.
Little dome truck, yeah.
They come with Scout 6 and with an awesome weapon called it's a casino cannon. It's a
I was
it's
gonna
a
say high las
high las beam or something.
beam or something like that.
These are
Casino.
No, the conversion beamers on the
The Hecaton.
Yeah.
Right, but the high las do have the conversion rule, right?
No,
Oh, they
just have
don't.
sustained hits.
Oh, that's just on the Hecaton.
Yeah,
Got
so-
it.
Sustained D3.
Oh,
D3,
is that what it is?
yeah. That's why we call them casino cannons. It's 2 shots, base hitting on 4s. If something's token, you're going down to 3s.
Right.
Strength 12, AP 3, D6 damage. But
Right.
every once in a while, you roll boxcars.
Yeah, we
You
just
get
handed out
2D3 extra shots.
8 hits.
Can confirm.
I'm
Sometimes,
sorry.
sometimes you roll out boxcars. Can confirm.
When we were in Saskatoon one time, I had an Angron in the center of the table. And I'm like, not yours. This isn't about you.
Don't worry, not yours. Don't worry, not yours.
You would have known. So I'm like, all right, I got to deal with Angron this turn. So I bring down 10 Terminators, lineup shot. 6-man bike, lineup shot. And a Sagittar. I'm like, all right, it's going to be tight. We're going to get it done.
Right.
Let's start with the Sagittar. Roll 2 dice for my high las. 6s. All right.
D3.
2D3.
Right.
2 more 6s.
Oh, Jesus.
8 shots.
Your opponent's like, bro.
Excuse me. Dude. Fucking toilet dice over here. What's going
The
on?
strength is like, you said 12?
Yeah.
Well, boxcars. For
No, strength
No,
12?
strength.
strength 12.
Yeah, yeah.
Nerf Votann.
Nerf.
And we look closer. Oh, Angron's got 2 judgment tokens.
Oh, okay.
+1 to wound.
Right.
Wounding on 2s.
Wounding Angron on 2s, yeah.
7 saves. Like 7 wound rolls.
Oh, Jesus.
Man fails 6 of them.
Oh, lordy.
28 damage. Angron's gone.
Nightmare scenario.
My little
Holy crap.
115
You almost
point
killed
like,
Angron twice.
toy car.
With a transport.
Yeah, with a dedicated
Holy
transport.
crap.
Jesus.
So they're really great for swinging up sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
So that's our transport.
I would be so mad.
Yeah, you'd just be like, what am I doing here? Man?
and the
Screw
number
this
and
shit.
this you'll if you've ever seen a Sagittar, it is teeny tiny.
Yeah.
And this thing is T10.
Yeah, is the footprint smaller than a rhino?
Smaller than a rhino.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Similar to a Torox. If you had
Oh,
it,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
had to play.
We're not
Bridge
meta
Hit.
chasers. We don't know what Torok are.
Man's played like 3 armies in the past year.
Yeah, I know.
That's,
It's
no,
just
that's, yeah, that's a
I
low.
like
That's
shooting
a low
armies.
amount. That's a low amount of
I'm
armies.
world leaders in Unari. Oh, yes, I played Harlequins, but it's like the same
That's the
thing.
same thing. It's the same thing. You're okay. You're okay, buddy. I'm not judging you.
Thank you.
I don't judge.
Harlequin Bros, right?
Oh,
now.
no, I'm
Harlequin
judging.
Bros.
It's-
Nux.
What is that faction doing in the game?
Harlequins?
Don't worry about it. They're fucking sleeper
Harlequins
hits.
or Unari. Both are like, should probably not exist. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then the other vehicle worth mentioning for sure.
Yeah, this is our Hecaton of damage land fortress.
Hecachonk.
Yeah,
Land
it's
fortress.
a big. It's kind of funny. It's basically the stat line of a land raider,
Mm-hmm.
but its dimensions are a bit smaller, so it ends up moving around a little bit easier actually.
Sure. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. for sure.
It comes equipped with kind of 3 guns, and then it has a piece of worker that you can switch for a missile. It's either ignores cover or a one-time use missile.
Okay. And ignores cover is very good.
You don't. Yeah, I mean, who's one-time missling? That's
right.
ridiculous.
What's the actual like dimension of the width? Like, can you fit through like the 4-inch gaps on like layout 1?
Ooh.
No, I believe it's.
Probably not. Yeah.
If you could, that would be crazy.
It might.
It'd be close.
I'd have
It
to
would
go
be
measure.
close, but
I don't think so. I don't usually play out of that.
Because I know
triangle.
Angron's base was like 4 inches, so I was like,
no, it's
oh,
it for sure can.
sweet.
Yeah, and so that's the same as like the armature
but
bases.
like
They're
the
good.
like the actual like land raiders are like wide. Like
Oh, yeah, they're very wide.
wide.
They
But I
don't-
know
they
you're
definitely
like quite a bit like skinnier with your.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite that small. Yeah, but close.
So the 3 guns is kind of our. We have basically heavy bolters, 2 heavy bolters, but they're strength 6, which is an actually really like it's a strength point that matters because when you're shooting things that are T11 and less,
Yep.
when they're tokened, you're winning on 4s with twin linked. It adds up actually.
100% it does.
And
yeah.
they got sustained hits, right?
Well, wounding on 4s with twin length is usually
super
pretty
good.
decent.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, more often than not, sometimes the little like bolt cannons do more damage than the main event cannon.
That's 2 damage each, right?
Yeah.
Ignore cover. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
And then it's kind of annoying. So you have another gun that is also 6 shots. That's strength 7 AP 1/2 damage, but does not sustain and not twin linked. So
Okay.
it's like this weird kind of spare
little more
gun.
swingy, right? Yeah.
It's called the MATR cannon. So I just call it the Tomater
The
cannon.
mater.
And then it's got this really cool conversion beamer.
Right.
It's a 2-shot gun, and it's just a better odds casino cannon. It's strength 10, AP 2, flat 4 damage.
Right.
And it also has sustained hits D3. But when you're 12 inches or further away, this triggers on 4 up, like on a 4 to hit.
You get a crit hit on
A crit hit
4
on
ups,
4,
basically. Yeah.
So, on average, you're probably getting 3-4 shots.
Sure.
It kind of feels like.
Yep.
With the chance to spike, but also the chance to just...
It could whiff,
Oops.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. That is kind of a thing with Votann. There's some definite whiff potential.
Some whiffage. Yeah, right, like you said, with a very significant lack of rerolls, do you find consistency can be an issue, or do you just have enough firepower that it kind of levels it out?
Yeah,
more or
Votann do
less?
have enough shots where it sometimes...
Plus one hit and wound generally helps.
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little
Oh,
bit.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, especially because you kind of mentioned it before, like a lot of your stuff is hitting on force. So if you don't have a grudgement token on something,
Yeah.
you can underswing pretty drastically, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. And really, kind of after that...
Berserks.
You've got Berserkers.
Berserks are very good, yeah.
They're kind of these little shirtless hammer bros.
Psychos, yeah.
Right now, kind of the popular thing is to take big 10-mans. They are strength 9, AP 3, or AP 2, flat 3 damage, like Thunderhammers, right?
Right, yeah.
And it's on this chassis that is 2 wounds with kind of like a 6-up armor save and 5-up feeling pain that fights on death on a 4-up.
Right, just on their data sheet, just fights on death, right.
And then in this index detachment, you have a kind of a mainstay stratagem where, if needed, for 1 CP, you get bonus AP in combat based on how many tokens the enemy has.
That's so good.
So you can
get
get to
plus 2
AP
AP.
4.
Dude, it's so good. That's what I was
on
saying.
these
Access,
hammers.
I don't know if we were filming it out, but access to -4 on pretty much anything, like -4 AP,
Yeah.
is wild.
So there's a
It's
couple
so
units that
good.
make really great use of it. Is your Terminators have
Yep.
slightly better power fists, strength 9 power fists,
Sure.
and like hammers that go to AP4, AP2, AP3.
So good.
So when you catch someone without that invuln and you really want it gone,
Or even give them a 6-up save. Okay, that's not great either, right? Like,
yeah, just it really changes the math quite hard. And there's this other the last unit we'll kind of talk about is one we got from Kill Team. They're
right. Oh, that's right.
Hearthkin. They're Jaegers.
Yeah.
These
Oh, are they not actually called Jaegers? There's a big name for them.
it's something Jaegers.
Oh, something Jaegers. I've
Jaegers.
literally never heard their actual name.
Yeah.
Not once.
Jaegers. And they're an awesome unit because it finally gave us an infiltrators unit. Now our bikes and our Sagittars have scouts
Right,
9
I
and
was gonna
scouts
say,
6.
that's a huge deal.
And there was a lot of potential for enemy units just to string out their infiltrators, and kind of similar to people playing against world eaters,
Right.
block your pressure scout, and that just feels bad. So now we have a unit to help screen out that space, make early game space.
Right.
And I don't know who wrote this, but these little dudes, they come with a reactive move D6 and AP2 knives.
Oh, I didn't know that.
On a little 90 unit, like a 90-point unit.
Or picking up aspect warriors. Like it's nobody's
sure they
business.
would, 100%.
Oh
would.
yeah, it's so.
I mean, everything kind of picks up aspect
Hey,
orders, but
you watch your mouth.
Typically on that unit, you get it's a 10-man unit, and you take 8 with these bolt pistols, and there's these plasma knives, and then you have a little rocket launcher and a sniper rifle. So I think it's 22 attacks out of the unit, and 18 of them are strength 4, AP2, 1 damage, with +1 hit and wound if you're kind of going after early skirmishing.
sure.
That you can push to AP4 if you really want to.
Right. If you need to kill a thing
Yeah.
with your little infiltrate unit.
Yeah.
And I think we might have buried this too at the beginning because one important part about killing something with a token early is that you can generate CP.
Yes,
right?
you get a big kind of cash in. So now that was what kind of alluded to with the Grotmus change. So you hand out 4 tokens if you're playing the index detachment right now. 2 of them are from your army, 2 of them are from the detachment.
Right.
The older rendition was you killed any of those 4, you get a one-time cash in depending on when you killed them. If it's turn 1 and 2, you get 3 CP. Turns 3 and 4, you get 2 CP. Turn 5, you get 1 CP. Usually I say if I haven't gotten my token by turn 5, the game's already over. I think I've lost if I'm not cashing in tokens.
Of course.
The change the wording in the army rule basically is that now you only get that CP from the 2 tokens from the detachment rule.
Oh,
So-
I didn't know that.
So now that's the slight nerf. Is now only 2
interesting.
of those
Not really a
tokens.
nerf.
No, that's a 100%
huge nerf.
That's a so
He's
so they
fine.
actually differentiate between these 2 tokens now. These 2
Correct.
sets of tokens, I guess.
Yeah, and then so
That's a significant nerf.
you would hand out these
That's
4
a significant
tokens.
nerf.
I'm just a hater.
Sorry, I forgot. Yeah. No, you're doing your job.
I'm doing my job.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
doing your job. Yeah, keep up. I get to butter him up. You get to bring him back down.
Who the hell's this guy?
Yeah, smash him on the
Good
head.
cop, bad cop.
Yeah. He's
Um,
Batman, all right.
So you'd hand out these tokens after scout moves. So typically you'd kind of send 3 after kind of boogeyman units.
Yep.
And then you'd put 1 after kind of their skirmishing units who may be overextended and use them as kind of like a quick cash in.
Yeah,
Like,
another infiltrating unit, something like that.
yeah.
Right.
Let me fuel my army, get my CP moving.
Right, because like you said, if you get it early enough, it's 3 CP in your next command phase.
In my
right?
next
It lags a little bit.
Would
but
you say you're generally pretty CP heavy?
I can be on, like, especially on a go turn when you're just like, let's tank shock something, let's sustain 2 something, let's AP bonus something, let's.
Yeah, for sure.
It can go quick.
Oh yeah, I've seen you spend them all in like one combat, like just boom. Yeah.
Blow your load, yeah.
Well, I mean, sometimes you gotta do it. So,
Happens to the best.
sometimes you gotta blow your load, man. As long as it's not too early and not too late,
Why'd
right?
you point at me when you said too early? I told you that in confidence. So I think an important thing to kind of talk about when we're doing like a faction focus is I know like during the game there's a lot of like reactive tactics, but something that a lot of like newer Votann players can really learn from is could you give us like a 2 to like maybe 4-minute rundown of like how you would set up generally for a game, like in the start of deployment, and then like what the intention of each unit for like the first like 1 or 2 turns will be.
Yeah, so
What's the game plan? Yeah.
Yeah,
Good call.
what are you going to do
Step
this
1.
weekend in the Alberta class?
Yeah, outline all your plans.
What's
right
our
now.
answer?
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
Step
my bad.
1, you got to assess the enemy. Really,
100%. Great
really
step
deep
1.
here.
Great step 1.
Because it's kind of this kind of cat and mouse. Votann is this kind of secret pressure army, right? You basically assess, can a person deal with Hecatons?
Sure.
Hecatons are weirdly tough, right? We talked about you have AOC, T12, 16 wounds. You're probably getting healed if you don't finish them.
Right.
Just
Fire dragons.
Immediately.
Immediately.
Not everybody has access to
Hey,
fire
sorry.
dragons.
Sorry, my bad.
Fire dragons do answer the question. Yes, they answer it well.
yeah, new Marines will oath it to death
Sure,
if
of
you
course,
give them too
naturally.
many shots.
Yeah, yeah. The plus one and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's your
Right.
first assessment.
The first question, right? Yeah.
So your Hecaton usually starts filled up with all your Berserkers. Some lists do run the Hecatons full of Terminators as well. The Hecaton's rule is that when you climb out of it, you get your like supporting fire. If the Hecaton shoots the target and then you shoot the thing climbing out, you get reroll wounds.
Oh, cool. Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Falcon rule.
I think it's a bit of a trap.
Yeah, I have to speak Eldar for this guy. It's the same as a Falcon.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Falcon, that's not meta. What does that do?
No, that's true. Yeah,
That wasn't on the
yeah,
list
he's
I read online.
Yeah,
It's
you
shaped
you
like a
only
wave
know the
serpent.
meta list. You have no idea what anything else
Spelled
does.
wave serpent wrong.
Yeah, what is this weird looking wave serpent? It's fucked up.
It's a cool rule.
No,
You don't have to
doesn't
make
come up
use
very
of it.
often.
Yeah. Usually it's holding all your Berserkers.
But the rerolls on the Berserks isn't that bad.
It's
If you
shooting,
can
isn't
pull
it?
it off. Is it just shooting or is it
Just
melee?
shooting.
Oh, it's just shooting. So it's not as good as a
No,
Falcon.
we're not-
Disregard.
They
No,
we
I'm
don't
just
get
kidding.
that privilege.
Sorry, I thought it was for the
they
whole.
They have 2 mole grenade launchers.
Oh, right.
In a 10 man.
Love
Alright, so
good
you can
mole.
reduce movement, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they come with that. There's so many great rules.
Oh,
Great
so good,
rules.
dude.
They
You
got
kind of
lots
get
stuff.
access to every
They kind of do.
most rules. That
Yeah,
you
they
need.
got lots.
Yeah. It's kind of like, we talk about
Except for
Gladius and how it's like Warhammer 40k the rules, the detachment.
Yeah. Yours is just Warhammer 40k rules the faction.
A little
Yeah.
less cool than Gladius, though.
Yeah.
Dwarves are pretty cool.
I don't know what Gladius does.
What do you mean?
I'm just a hater. I told you this 5 minutes
This guy
ago.
has no idea. This guy has no idea. Okay, so something's going in the Hecatonks. You're evaluating whether they can be killed. So you're evaluating whether they're playing up the board or playing more passive, I guess.
Yeah, so basically your Hecatons become this delivery method for these big melee bricks. So when you look at certain kind of melee matchups, like I think Creations of Bile, it's not a great odds that like a unit would come, like a unit possessed would come in and get a Hecaton. I don't think.
It could happen, but yeah, not
armor
great,
save's
not
pretty
great
good.
odds. Yeah,
And you have
armor's
AOC,
good.
which kind of
What are your strength on possessed?
It's not high. It's like 6 or 7 or something.
Do they reroll wounds?
Yeah, I don't know.
Even
I've
if they
played them a
did,
few times.
With
but I
with
don't-
AOC, you're saving on like 3s.
Yeah, and they're wounded on 6s.
I had a
5s if they're
unit.
getting, like,
I don't
plus
remember
one.
what the difference between the chosen and the possessed are, but I had one big unit, mind you, of one of those. I can't remember which one it was. Charge my Knight Lancer and kill it in one go. So that's probably probably not the norm.
So possessed are the 10 bricks to do a lot of damage, and chosen are the 5 bricks that your opponent only tells you are 3 wounds after you start shooting at them.
Got it. That's the
That's how
play.
CSM works.
That's the play.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, they could. I think on average, probably not. But
Yeah, to be more fair, it's
Creation of
dicey,
Bile enthusiasts, please correct us. If
and
need be.
you're putting that hard decision making on your opponent.
Sure, right, yeah.
So you start creating pressure, and there's like a kind of a concept in Warhammer, right, where strong shooting can either come from like a single kind of source. So a Hecaton can shoot all of its power out of just a tiny little gap, right?
Sure.
When needed. Whereas my bikes, you really have to make space for 6 models to shoot. And there's a big difference in kind of when and where you use that,
Yeah,
right?
what's appropriate, right?
So Hecatons are great at kind of taking up great staging spots, making kind of pot shots out of these little angles, and getting ready to deliver this payload if someone gets too close.
Right. Okay.
And then your bikes, like we talked about earlier, kind of uppy downy off the edges, and then kind of react to whatever comes around, while you have your Sagittars delivering warriors, kind of doing your actions, making space, and etc.
Yeah, your early trading pieces.
How often would you use your bikes to scout offensively to get like angles versus just keeping them on the side for like later game? Like, are your bikes normally like turn 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, there's kind of two kind of ways to play it. You can, in extreme cases, you can actually spend them with their scout 9, move 12, and a kind of a cheeky charge into something that maybe can't deal it. You can actually bike jail people.
You can a little bit of bike jail, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
and then you can eliminate some of that shooting back into your Hecatons. Really, it comes down to delivering your Hecatons and kind of taking over that.
But they're not cheap, right? They're pretty expensive, or what's the
Hecaton land
no
forces?
the bikes? Sorry.
180 for a 6-man.
Okay, so they're not crazy expensive.
They're not crazy, but
30 points per models. Not
That's
bad.
That's not bad at all. I actually thought they were more than that.
for a thing that comes with a shotgun, 2 bikes with miniguns,
There's a lot of
and
shots.
autocannons.
Yeah, a ton of shots.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Okay, yeah, you could do a jail. I don't think I've ever seen you do that. At least against me.
No, like I said, very rare.
Right.
You'd probably use it against.
Yeah, what's the
Not
scenario?
Tau
I was
these
gonna say, what's the
days.
scenario you even do that in? Because they're
gosh.
so useful in that mid and late game as like pop up. Maybe not for like the big unit doesn't want to be doing actions and stuff, but for just the amount of firepower they can put out into the right,
even
into the right
into, like,
target. When
orcs-
things have tokens on them all over the place, they just pop up.
Oh,
and
even
blow
into
up
Orcs
whatever.
and Elder right now, bikes are like splitting fire. And it's just,
Oh,
like,
100%
picking up
melting
spots.
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
like
So I don't think. I mean,
like,
I don't know.
Like the late game, like all around the place for bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Super
way
good.
more value than maybe getting a jail off here and there.
But it's
I
easy to
think,
get greedy. So it's like the number one thing about Warhammer 40K I find is usually like just like
Sure.
chilling out, and like if there's a 50-50, usually you take the less aggressive option is the right choice.
That's the nails biting.
Yeah.
That's what that is. The,
Yeah,
the,
no,
the nails
One
are
of our
biting.
leaders, it was so
The
hard.
nails are biting.
I can move the whole
It's like-
board, but I shouldn't.
It's
Yeah.
conservative like aggression.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Measured aggression. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and then like you said, so like the Sagittars with their scout move, very very valuable, getting things out fast. Having pressure. Those are your initial trade pieces, right? Give me your Sagittars, your warriors and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then we talked about like the great stratagem in fallback, shoot, and charge.
Right. Always great.
So when people do come after the Hecatons and fall short, maybe tag it. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of a, like I heard Tim talk about this already on,
Yeah.
but what's the purpose of like a 10-man Berserks in like a Hecaton? Because I know it's not just for 3 extra inches of movement.
It helps.
Oh yeah.
it does help.
It's just their delivery method. But like the Berserkers are there as a great, it's great in the melee matchup, and it's 32 attacks with strength 9.
Yeah, they
82,
ran man. They're strong as hell.
They can really just take down the big units.
But they're not inherently that tough. Like they're not tough in and of themselves. They basically
If
don't
you're
have
like
save.
2
They're
damage,
weirdly tough.
Like the 5-up feel no pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it messes
I don't
the
want to
math
say I was
up,
sat
but-
at home rolling dice, but I was rolling out a few scenarios while I was list building for this weekend, and I was like, dude, these things are like, I got frustrated with myself with how many 5s I was rolling.
fair enough,
I was
fair
like, this is really annoying.
Anytime people are like, once Berserks deliver, like you deliver your payload, kill the thing you want, now the enemy is forced to respect this thing, and it usually
Sure.
takes more shooting than it should.
Right. Feeling
And
the
now
pains
when your
always
bikes and your
mess it up.
Hecatons aren't getting shot,
Yeah.
you're chilling.
Yep.
What's
that's
the
right.
movement on Berserks?
5.
5.
Oh, they're 5'2",
Do
hey?
you have advanced
Wow.
in charge at all?
No.
Oh, so it's the 8-inch move. It's quite.
Yeah, the
That's
8-inch
the one
move is
rule we
very
don't have.
important.
No
Yeah.
advance in charge.
Yeah.
Your army doesn't advance in charge.
Wow, get wrecked.
And they have their little mortars that they come with are also indirect.
Right.
They're D6 +1 plus blast shots.
Right.
And then after you hit an infantry unit with it, you roll on a 4-up, and they become. I have a little token. You become stinky. -2 to advance, move, and charge.
The mole makes you stinky?
Mole makes you stinky.
Don't tell me that these Hecatons are like firing deck. So they just got like these indirect mole launchers.
No, they're
your whole
not.
army's
No,
moving
no
like
firing.
4
Do
inches.
Sagittars have firing deck?
No.
No, they don't
I
have.
don't know. Probably not.
Doesn't
You would know. You would absolutely know.
You're a professional. You're a faction focused guy. You know everything, Adam.
I just don't play. Because when I play my Marines,
don't
I
use
don't
it, then
play Rhinos.
He's got
or,
his
like,
phone out, like
impulsors.
looking through the Votann rules.
I just don't use fire.
Yeah,
deck.
so we have.
Right, mole launchers, right?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, those
right.
I think in my guard, I played a Chimera, like one Chimera in a list,
Right.
and I was always dropping the boys out, so I was never using firing deck. I don't make use of that rule.
Firing deck's not a thing. Screw it.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Cool. I think that's a great. I think that's a good like primer. If someone that's never played into Votann before, I think that's a lot of good information.
Yeah, it really is. So what do we go through? We got Hecaton, Sagittar, Warriors, Berserks,
How you
Spikes,
kind of set
characters,
up how you
7
want to play.
data sheets.
Oh, in your list, yeah, sure. Something
Yeah.
like probably something like
Well,
that.
that is the army.
Pretty much.
I guess what are the characters we missed? Let's pull it the app.
We can
I
pull
told
it
you
up
I
if
was
you
going
want.
to do it.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. That might be all the characters.
There's a
Is
wizard.
currently running.
There's a wizard.
There's a wizard
Oh,
with a cool gun.
Lore wise, do Votann use like the warp and stuff or no?
No.
They're not warp dudes, right?
They're just short guys.
They're just
They're-
short
They
guys.
just squeeze through
They're
with
like
cracks.
little,
But they-
little businessmen. Yeah, they're all like
Yeah, they're
they
all about
trade.
mining,
Yeah.
mining
Your-
and trading
your
and
next
stuff like
Votann
that.
army should be in like all like tuxes.
Oh, that'd be
Just
dope. Little
like the little-
suits with like little
Well, the
briefcases.
Jaegers have their little like
They have
fur
little
coats.
jackets.
Yeah.
They have little bomber jackets. Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of
true.
steezy.
They are kind of
all
cool.
the homies
And
hate
they-
Jaegers.
Just dripped out.
We don't do a lot of lore on this show, but lore wise, if I remember correctly, Votann are like lost descendants of humans, but that have like obviously like evolved shorter.
We just shot all the short people into space, and then they colonized.
It's like if we sent all the short people to Australia and they all became dwarves.
Yeah.
And then they also, the other big thing, and because there's filthy Xenos, obviously they partake in AI, artificial intelligence. They actually have like robots that have AI and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, those are the little assistants.
Right, yeah, that guy that has the
This guy
AI
knows
dudes.
nothing about
Okay,
Votann.
Votann, we got our first novel like a month ago.
Oh, is that true? They had no books, hey?
Yeah. I can't even know that. I
That's
can't even
cool.
tell you the name of it. I'm busy
I don't know
reading
either.
guard books still.
That's dope.
The Fall
That's
of Katie
dope.
series, great.
Such a meta chaser.
What?
You don't even read the books.
You don't even know the lore.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
the heck?
yeah.
I'd read a Votann book just because they're like so new and weird and
Probably a very
Out
short
there.
book.
We're fact checking myself. So the army rule is just the token system,
got it.
and then the detachments are the reroll ones and the handing out.
It says here on
Okay, got it.
Wikipedia,
Right,
I didn't get the codex.
the army
I'm
rule.
yeah, because I'm still in index army.
He's indexed. He's good. Doesn't have to pay nothing.
he's
I haven't
fine.
had to pay my dues yet.
Right. So the army rule is the whole token system, and
Yeah.
2 tokens now.
Oh, we're forgetting about Thunderkin. That's another great unit.
Thunderkin. Oh, they're the anti-vehicle guys.
Okay, there's
Clearly,
3 data
clearly
sheets.
not currently meta.
3 data sheets.
Yeah, I didn't even
talk
consider it.
about.
Do
There's
you run Thunderkin?
No.
no.
No,
Of course
wow,
he
there
does.
you
You
go.
just forgot about them.
No, it's okay. That's, you don't
Some
have to-
people like them.
You don't have to
They're-
go over every data
He
sheet,
has
just what
8
you're
data
running
sheets
in.
and he just forgot one existed. Oh shit! Right, we have the short dudes in the back.
The unloved child, the middle
Yeah.
child.
Forget 10% of your army.
Thunderkin are like these little exosuit guys who kind of like devastators. They come with special weapon, like a special. I'm not gonna call them long range, but special weapons.
Sure.
More often than not, they're bringing. It's called the Gravitron Blast Cannon.
Nice.
They are D6 shots, hitting on 4s, strength 5, AP 2 damage with anti-vehicle 2-up and blast.
Yeah, they're good.
So they're actually a great unit to put into Hecatons. You can't fit the 6-man, so a 3-man goes in, and they do actually make use of that reroll.
Wait, what's the carrying capacity of a Hecaton?
12, but exo armor takes up like 3.
Oh, the armor makes them
Yeah.
too bulky.
Too
Got
bulky,
it.
man.
Too thick.
Chunky man.
Thunderkin
Too
are also a
chunk.
great vessel for adding your Iron Master to, but then they can't fit in the Hecaton again. So
Right, so a
So
little awkward.
some weird
But like
numbers.
like a good like just bringing him in from strat reserves on like a side board edge to shoot vehicles and stuff, right?
Yeah, and so that's why you kind of don't see them right now, right? Is they only have an 18-inch.
That's true. Bikes kind of fill that role. That's fair.
And bikes can punch up because of the strats. Like
for sure, especially with two markers on them and stuff like
They're
that. Yeah,
pretty
100%.
expensive too, like the Thunderkin.
It's like 85 for. Let's see, points, win composition. 80 points for 3, 160 for a
That's not that bad.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cheap.
That's not that bad.
But again, it's kind of with potential, right? You roll 3 dice and it's like a 1 and 2 twos. And you're like, 5
that's
shots.
Like 26.6.
Oh, right.
Points
Yeah,
per
yeah,
model.
yeah. Yeah, anytime you have D anything number of shots, you run the risk of
the anti-vehicle is cool.
Yeah, if you can get to the wound, you're laughing. But
yeah, and they can fire Overwatch and hit on 5s.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
Nerf.
But no rerolls anywhere to be seen. So
maybe this is the anti-Unari tech for the guys who can't.
He said, "Put the phone down." Lists are locked.
The 2 other characters we missed is the Grimnir. He's the wizard.
Yep.
If you stick him in a unit, he gives them a. they get +1 toughness, and once per battle, you can reroll a failed battle. You just don't take him.
Yeah, just not good.
He's got a cool gun.
Listen, he doesn't have to be an expert on every single model in the range. If we did an Eldar faction focus, you couldn't name 50% of them. You think so?
Oh yeah.
Name every Eldar.
Name every special character. Yeah, you're a real fan. Name 3 Eldar.
Yeah, I know them on like first name basis.
Warlocks back
Yeah, there's the spider chick. There's the hawk guy.
I'm gonna ask Adam to
gun
borrow
guy.
Eldar models for the tournament after this podcast.
That's right.
I still have your Rangers, I think.
No, they
do you
came to
have an
Kelowna
Eldar
by
army?
accident with me.
Oh, okay.
Do you have an Eldar army?
I do.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
He's
but
been
some of us don't
meta-chasing,
meta chase, so it's staying at home.
Yeah. You don't want to be crazy. You don't
I
wanna be
have
like this
Wraith
guy
Lords
over here.
and
You're out of your mind. You don't have an Incarn. You can't do it.
And then,
I
so
don't
was
have the Incarn.
Was there
Enjoy loser aspect host.
was there one more character or something? Or
this is
of interest.
Uthar the Destined.
Oh, he sounds cool.
Is it Ulthar?
Yeah. Huh?
Is it ULTHAR or is it UT?
It's like the funky 2.u.
Oh, it's
like
it's an umlaut.
It's like German.
Yeah.
I think it's an umlaut. Yeah,
Spends them on like Bavarian vests. Walking. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like Lederhosen Votann army would be dope as hell.
That would be sick.
Yeah,
That should be Mark's next project after the fish towel.
That should be.
He's got to do.
Hold up. Let him cook.
I'm holding. Oh, you're saying just don't get crazy. Let him build his army first.
Yeah.
Sure, that's fair. What does Uthar do?
He comes with a
Uthar.
He comes with a Volkite disintegrator. It's a 3-shot kind of like pistol-looking thing that is strength 5, 0 AP, 1 damage with devastating wounds.
However, in Votann could be like 5 AP.
You get your
right.
For some reason,
Your Blade of the
AP.
Ancestors is 5 attacks, strength hitting on 2s, strength 6, AP 3/2 damage with devastating wounds.
Is he their only epic character?
He's their only named epic character, yeah. And
it doesn't get taken. That's sad.
Once per turn, you can change a hit or wound roll to an unmodified 6. So you get a what are they, the token?
The aspect tokens.
Aspect token.
This homie used to get taken when you could use like the Magna rails to like delete a squad of 10. Because it would all turn into mortal wounds if you hit on a 4-up, and then all the damage would carry over. So
it's only for this model.
Yeah, so you bring this guy.
So
Right. When devs spilled over.
It was like back in like release 9th. It was like
that was even in 10th. Release 10th. It had the same thing.
Any hit roll of 4-up, if something was tokened, was automatically a wound of 6. And it had like the melter rule that could spill over. And everybody was reading it. They're like, dude, what the hell?
It was like, a Hecaton would pull up in one shot like a big knight and just no problem.
Oh, Jesus, that's brutal.
It's like, here's 24 mortal wounds.
Just kill like half a squad of wraiths. Because if the first guy failed his saves, then the damage is mortals actually.
It's mortals,
so
yeah.
just carried over,
It just didn't matter.
Whatever.
Ugh, gross.
Who cares about game design?
He also
who needs
has, he's the Destined. So each time an attack is allocated to this model, change the damage to 1. So this guy's not
always.
getting railgunned. Yeah.
But his secret ability is attacks are never allocated to him because he's not meta right now. So he's actually
because he's on your shelf.
He's actually
at
just on your shelf while you're at the function.
Yeah. All damage is ignored because he's not playing the game.
He's literally never died.
That makes sense. That's a good rule. I like that rule.
That is a
if you
pretty
don't
good rule.
play, you can't lose.
Yeah, seriously.
And he comes with the Rampart Crest to give out the invuln. He can
Naturally.
go with Warriors or the Hearth Guard.
Why isn't he played? He sounds like he's got a bunch of good rules.
He's more expensive, like astronomically more expensive.
Oh, okay, more expensive for not.
Votann astronomically more expensive.
It's like 90
No,
points.
90
he's
points.
10 points more than a call.
You just have a lot of good stuff already.
I don't
to
know.
play
I'm
list
sure.
with.
I'm sure someone out there's taking them, but
Yeah, it's just not making the cut.
It's
if
just
you
not-
got the 10-point gap, which you do because Votann have
Just
these
not
weird
Adam
numbers.
Meta
Sure.
Green.
Yeah, you know what? I'm bringing Uthar.
You know what?
There's
I'm
no
gonna
way you
dust
bring him
this
this
guy.
weekend.
I'll prove you wrong.
There's no way you bring him this weekend.
Why not?
He could take a 10 point tax. He'll be
You know,
fine. I think he'll be
that little
fine.
6 attack sword is gonna dev wound your guys into the ground.
Okay, and the Incarn's gonna spawn there. Checkmate.
Speaking of tournaments, you did bring your Votann to a teams event just this past weekend. That was literally a day ago. Over this two
Like
past 2 days,
12 hours ago. Yeah.
just very
He
recently.
remembers it very, very clearly.
And
24 hours ago.
run us through real quick. What was the team comp again for you guys? So 6-man team event.
5.
5-man
Five-man
teams.
team
Yeah.
event. Okay, sorry.
Obviously, Cass isn't here today because he's at home sleeping.
Sleepy boy. He was
Yeah,
there.
He
with
was
the Death
there.
Guard.
So, and then we brought Death Guard. We brought Thomas Cruikshank, who is usually our TOs for all our events in town.
Yep.
Thomas
He brought
the goat.
Yeah, he is.
Mordaka Orcs.
Yep. Of course. Gotta have one.
He was gonna bring Tau, but then obviously Orcs came out, and WTC maps right now aren't kind to Tau. So
Oh, okay.
it just kind of like made more sense as a change.
Sure.
We had
No accusations of meta chasing over here for some reason.
I can't trip Thomas.
That's true. You can't.
He
talk-
organized all the
That
events.
is a rule, actually. You
It's
can't.
like, honestly, he's like the one of the like linchpins of the community.
100%.
So I can't even.
And if you talk shit, you know it'll come back to you
I'll get
eventually.
yellow carded.
he puts the time in.
100%.
He
He
puts
does. He's
the
a fucking
time in.
beast.
Yeah, he's helped improve the Calgary scene. Just
You're gonna call for a TO on the weekend, and he'll be like, "Fuck you." How about
Whoa,
that?
Fool's Errand is like double the size that it was last
Yeah,
year.
it's huge now. Yeah.
And it's like his consistency of events and
and he holds us to a high standard.
It's been unreal.
Yeah, he does,
And
He makes fun of me for my painting and like
He should.
I need to hear it.
and rightfully so.
I
Yeah.
need to hear it.
Me too.
Oh, your stuff looks good. Your Votann look great. Do they not?
Oh, hold on now.
They look
They're
pretty
okay.
good.
I don't know
I
what they look like.
don't remember. I look,
They're not
pretty good.
Eds. Shout
No,
out Ed. Ed,
Ed's-
friend of the podcast.
Yeah.
Awesome looking army, and
Dude,
has become
gorgeous army.
an amazing player over the last year.
Yeah, we're gonna beat you guys in a different event coming up pretty soon.
There's Edmonton.
Edmonton,
Oh my
6-man.
God. There's
Let's
no
focus.
way-
Sorry, I had to
there's
talk
no
shit.
way on earth.
I'm sorry for talking shit.
If we drop a game there, I'm quitting Warhammer.
Yeah, good.
We're spotlighting.
You guys heard it here.
Quote me on
You all
that.
heard it here now.
Quote me on
When
that.
I smash Frazier in 2-3 weeks, something whatever that is.
Thought it was after the podcast.
He's done skis. But we will focus on that later.
don't
Sorry, you've
focus on
got
that joke.
I owe
got
Ed $50 still, dude.
who? Ed?
I owe Ed $50.
Why? Did you lose a bet?
No, he
Ed's
won like a
coming for your
gift card.
kneecaps.
Oh, okay.
I really gotta pay him back.
Wow.
He's gonna put a token on me if I don't pay him back.
Oh no.
Um,
Okay, so
Shout out, though.
orcs. Votann.
That was the worst tangent I've ever heard in my entire.
That's fine.
Oh shit! I owe that dude like $50.
this is a
shout out.
This is a platform we get to promote local players who
Yes.
deserve to be
100%.
spoken about.
100%. Shout out to Ed. You're a beast.
You just don't care about your
I'm a
friends.
hater.
Yeah, Frazier. No,
I
good-
hate that you owe Ed $50.
Good cop, bad cop.
My
Good
middle
cop, bad
name's
cop.
Edward. I
Good
hate
cop,
you.
bad cop. My middle name's Edward. That's right. It is
It
Edward.
is.
Edward. That's right.
Little known fact.
So Votann, Cass brought his Death Guard.
Death
You've
Guard.
got Thomas's
Mordaka
Orcs.
Orcs. We had Jeremy came out with Ultramarines, kind of good stuff. Gladius.
Yep. Good stuff,
For
Gladius.
some of us who know the detachment.
That's the good one. Yes.
And we finally had
New Custodies.
Mark Passant with the new Lions.
That's right.
Custo
Custodies.
detachment. Yeah.
So good. I
Super
love them.
cool. Yeah, super fun.
Awesome.
That's a good lineup. Very good lineup. Solid
Yeah.
lineup.
So 5-mans is a little different in pairings, right? A lot of tournaments, like a more traditional team tournament would usually take 8-mans, WTC.
Yeah, the big ones.
a lot of
or
tournaments
6.
out. Yeah, we're still.
We don't see a lot of 8-mans at all. Over
No,
here.
it Alberta's not really doing it yet, but we'll get there.
We're getting there.
Well, even the Sask team tournament's bumped up to a 6-man now, and then we have
Yeah.
the 6-man. So we're getting there.
We're
We'll
moving
get
and
there. We'll
grooving.
get there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It'll happen. I think even by next year.
Um,
All
Will we
over
get
the place.
8 golden tickets for them? Probably not.
Yeah, well,
Probably
notable
not.
for this event, it was a 5-man event with only 2 golden tickets.
If
means-
we started calling our events like the Toronto Open or some shit, we'd probably get our tickets.
Yeah,
When
they
we
don't-
submitted them.
There's no way anyone at GW knows Canadian geography.
we talk,
Ontario Open. It's in Alberta. Tickets,
hilarious.
please.
Yeah, we mentioned it when we first talked about on the podcast the Edmonton Open and how many people had to be like, "Where the fuck is Edmonton?"
Well, now they know. Now they know.
Now they
Edmonton
know
Open,
it's on
baby.
the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 5-man event. We did, like I said, 2 golden tickets at up for grabs. Actually, I was going to ask, you guys might know, Are these the first golden tickets that have gone out this year?
No.
Like been won? No, was there
No.
some already?
There's Anthony Richardson has won from like Manitoba.
Oh, okay.
There's been Manitoba event. I don't think there's been anything in Sask yet. But there's
Nothing on
it's
Alberta
obviously
yet.
It's obviously the beginning of like the tournament season.
Sure, yeah.
So apart from like all the big opens, there's been like a couple GTs.
Some of the Pacific North, like being in Kelowna, Canadian geography lesson here.
Yeah.
Kind of central between Vancouver, our west coast, and then here in Calgary, and then you kind of have access into the Pacific Northwest of the United States.
Yeah.
So I know that like Alex McDougall of Art of War and Stu of local mercenary Vancouver Team Canada now.
They got some already.
They went and got some down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cascade,
I
Clash.
Yep.
Spokane,
Cascade,
probably something like that. Somewhere down there.
So there's probably 8-ish tickets out there already, 8 to 10, somewhere in that range, floating around. But you had 2 at this event, so taking it very serious, obviously.
Yeah. And then this was on WTC layouts, and those guys, it's put on by a group. They kind of go by Hammer Time.
Right.
The terrain was awesome. It was all uniform. Every single table had basically the exact same pieces of
yeah.
terrain.
Good for them.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah. Really.
Yeah.
Really.
And
great work from
WTC
them.
terrain is interesting. We don't see a lot of that. Certainly not in Alberta.
Not over here, but
Is that a
in, like,
BC thing?
Well, Team Canada in general loves WTC, and all the
Sure.
Ontario guys, like even their singles events, are like a lot.
That's
of them
right.
are
They are
WTC.
starting to migrate. Oh, especially in singles, more to GW now.
Well, because the
over
World
there.
Championships and all the big opens are
Yep.
GW.
Going to be.
So-
Oh, that's a good point. But I mean, WTC is going to be on WTC.
WTC's
so
actually
it's-
got like fairly fair terrain, and it's nice for team tournaments because instead of everybody having the same layout, there's also the added layer of complexity of there's a lighter table, a medium table,
Yeah,
and a
sure.
heavier table.
And there's a lot more pieces of terrain that touch the edge of
Yeah.
the like the maps. So it
Not just GW layout 7 specifically.
No, there's
And then-
a lot of GW layouts have just one of those little terrain
Yeah,
on the
we're
side.
talking like a
The
like
new-
a whole
like
thing.
a big
yeah.
guy.
so
Right,
a new
right.
map has come out within the last month here for
Right.
WTC, and there used to be what we called like super L's. It was basically 2 big pieces of terrain like that literally made these 2 giant
giant
L's that
L,
like
right.
split the map in half, and that really changes how shooting armies interact, and a lot more times WTC kind of makes you be exposed to hold an objective. It's
Right.
not like in GW where you're just like, yeah, here's my infiltrator starting out here. He's safe.
Yeah, you're
until
safe
you
an
come
inch off the
across.
wall forever. Don't even worry about
Yeah.
it. Right.
So you have to make a lot more
Inch
commitments.
off the wall doesn't exist in WTC.
It also does not exist. You kind of treat walls like
That's true.
barricades. You can exist in walls during fighting.
Did this tournament have that WTC rule as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
really
in the wall
interesting.
and then you go back. out.
Yeah,
so obviously something like Berserkers in Votann make really great use of running through walls.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't know. I thought it was just the terrain, but they actually had WTC rules across the board
Yep.
essentially.
And then that's another reason why Berserkers are so awesome on WTC. So by the same virtue of me coming through walls and fighting you, you're coming through walls, I'm fighting on death, and I'm still getting that
Yeah.
trade.
Getting the value. Yeah.
So yeah, that was our 5-man stack. Kind of the theme there is that they're all shooting element, but can also kind of combat, kind of combined arms,
Sure.
can brawl. Obviously, we had a team episode here on that. You guys had.
Yep.
I'm not part of that.
Did you watch our episode?
I watched every episode.
Oh, this guy. Do you watch all of our
This
episodes?
is why it's important to shout out locals. Actually, I feel like I'm only getting shit talk when I'm
Dude,
not around.
actually, I'm only on like half the episodes.
Part timer here.
Well,
No, more than half so
no,
well, since the new
I
studio,
literally
obviously.
have personal training clients like every other Monday.
Yeah,
So
you're the new guy.
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. You got to watch the episode though. You got to hit us with a like.
I always, I do always like it.
Okay,
Like
good.
everybody else should.
Do you have a YouTube Premium account? Apparently, that
Yes.
helps with the algorithm.
Oh, does it?
You pay for YouTube Premium?
Yeah, heck
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
You need help.
Focus.
This guy has Snapchat Plus.
Oh my god.
YouTube. I will say YouTube Premium is great.
What's wrong with capitalism?
We don't necessarily have time to go through like every single matchup, but let's say what was highlight from the event? What do you like? What, like for you, your army, for your team? We know that like, we've talked about this before. I guess mentioned on the team event. Part of the fun of doing team events is just hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
Going out to especially like out of town trip with the boys always feels good because
Yeah.
you're tied at the hip for a couple days. You're out drinking, you're out partying. Any crazy parties? You guys take it pretty chill out there.
Man, we got pretty wild that first night. And
Did you?
we pulled out the terrain and a mat and we laid out all the layouts.
Oh, did you actually?
Practiced our I've got
Dude, that's
fun.
fucking
Man,
sick.
that sounds like
Yeah.
a crazy party. You guys are wild.
I didn't remember
thank
that
God,
night.
Thank God your wives weren't there.
I'm sorry,
Um,
but to me that sounds like so much fucking fun.
Oh my
I'm a
God.
huge nerd, and that sounds
Obviously,
I'd be
for-
asleep upstairs.
Apologies
Yeah, you
to
don't care.
audio listeners here, but here is a picture of the boys on the floor
Oh, absolutely.
throwing out layouts.
That's killer. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
100%.
who are you? Who is the most like bad matchup? Like who is the biggest skew list that you found you had to protect, like put down first in a lot of your matchups?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. As far as your
So I think
pairings.
that was kind of the advantage to our stack, is that didn't exist. However, the problem came in is that we had some blind spots in kind of like knights like hull spam.
Sure.
Votann can play that matchup, and
I think they're very
sometimes they
good
do
matchup.
it great well, but
Yeah.
sometimes if you're not, 4 tokens can only go so far,
Sure.
and that's where with potential can really kind of come into potential. So we can kind of get into it, right? Like in my game 2, I play Imperial Knights. We get kind of one of the more open layouts where he can really move around and push around. And I have 2 Hecatons, 2 Sagittars, and a unit of 6 bikes shooting to Canis Rex, and he gets away with 6 wounds. It's like,
Right.
oh man, I just shot my whole army into
Everything.
a single guy. And like if I had killed him, I'm in a much better place. So in that matchup, right, like the only things that can really deal with the Hecatons are the Warglaves and the Big Knights.
Yeah, of course.
So the second those are gone, your Hecatons can really kind of bully
Jam up,
and take control of the matchup. And then you have your Berserkers who can make use of the AP4 stratagem to just push straight through Knights, right? So it's kind of the balancing act of having your Hecatons create space, and then your Berserkers take down kind of the Big Knights and the Warglaves, so that your Hecatons can then focus on the Helvrins, because the Helvrins take out your bikes.
Right. Yeah. It's
So
like
it's-
a rock paper scissors game. And
it's
like
this funny
like,
circle
yeah,
dance.
This weird circle dance. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then like say sometimes you can just kind of have these
Yeah,
whiff turns.
So you underswung
underswung onto
on into Canis, even though he had two grudgements on him.
yeah, and I mean I committed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, for sure. He just got lucky with saves, or
Well,
did you roll bad or?
T12.
Yeah,
He
T12.
has a lot of
T12
strength
hurts
6,
for
right?
sure, but wounding on 5s though, because of 2 tokens, right?
Well, you have strength 12.
7
stuff,
and
so.
6 and strength 10, 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not bad.
Wounding on like
lot of
all
force.
this stuff that
But
should
he's
be
not
on
wounding
6s.
anything on 2s.
No, well, the big guns off the
And
Hecatons.
he's got no.
No,
rerolls.
because they're only strength 10.
Oh, sorry, the Sagittars then. The big
Yeah,
gun on Sagittars. Yeah.
Yep.
So even the Hecatons are wounding on 4s.
3s. With token.
3s
Against the
strength
small stuff.
12.
Well,
Yeah, we're
no,
talking
like-
about the big
like-
boy.
like
Against
Canis,
Canis,
though.
yeah.
Into Canus.
Yeah.
Was it you underswung, or he just got good saves, or like just kind
A little A and
of
B.
just a little bit of both? Yeah.
Yeah, and then this was Terraform, and I had to go first, which usually Votann like to go first.
Well, and on Terraform, you kind of want first.
Create that space. Yeah.
Yep.
However, like
But WTC layouts, a lot
Right,
of
so
the,
yeah, I
the
don't-
objectives are exposed.
Yeah, I don't know WTC that well. Does that
like I
probably
said,
changes
yeah, it's
the-
tough.
changes
Anything
the-
I kind of had to put out, he could just come and get.
Sure.
Kind of commit to. So kind of but the rest of that round, that was kind of so we had a blind spot in Knights, right?
Right,
So I take that.
which is not bad.
I can make a nice kind of like 10-10-ish kind of game out of it.
You think it's a 10-10? You think it's a 10-10 usually? I would thought it'd been
It's
like a fifth, like on your matrix. I would see that as like a 15 for you, 14.
no.
It's other
don't think
Knights
so, hey?
players, Ben.
maybe that's right. It's not just not into me. Me, it's a 20 every time.
So
Every
if we're
time.
talking matrices, I'd call that like a yellow, right?
Sure.
If a blue is like you're 20-0 in someone,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
green is at 15,
Right.
A yellow is kind of close to a draw, small
At
loss,
12-ish,
small win.
whatever, yeah.
Orange is a 5-6, and then the
Getting
one is
bad.
like I'm getting 1 or 2
Reds
points.
go away. Yeah.
I'd call that like a yellow.
Okay.
A safe yellow.
Okay.
right?
So found a gap, unfortunately, in your
the chink in the armor.
Well,
yeah.
chink
Knights
in the
are
armor.
common in teams too.
super common. They're very
Yeah.
strong because there's that
I think
skew,
almost every
natural
round
skew.
we encountered Knights.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Knights.
I'm not surprised.
There was more Knights than Orcs actually. If I were to
Yep,
go
there
look
was,
back,
yeah.
Well,
back
because
in the
Knights are
game.
kind of that easy thing to kind of protect in teams. So you just
Sure.
keep them away from like the huge anti-tank unless somebody has like 2 unbelievable anti-tank.
100%.
lists. Like normally your Knights players in a pretty good shape.
Yep.
And I think just anti-tank is slightly less common now. Kind of this.
What's
Well,
the metas?
The meta has shifted. Yeah, we're trying to fight. People are trying to fight Orcs and Eldar.
Kind of MSU, elite
Right,
infantry.
MSU. Well, MSU like even elite to small infantry.
Yeah, because Bile's popular with like a 3 wound
Yep.
kind of.
Yep.
Well, even just look at like Imperial Knights recently. Like they've been doing so much better because
lit it
like a
up.
lot of like the anti-tank is kind of like absent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until 100-point Orc units are picking up everything in the
Right,
game.
of course.
But,
and then,
you
we
know.
have a problem.
Well, even Orcs kind of like they have their real go turn onto like say the big knights with their tank bustas, and then
Well, I guess a lot of orc shooting is strength 9.
And then
Yep, there's still. I mean, same thing with fire dragons, but fire dragons reroll
like
everything.
you get your turn with your.
Don't kill my fire
It doesn't matter.
I'll split fire into you. I don't care.
Well, split fire a unit of 5 into with no melta into 2 armigers. That'd be a wild.
With no melta,
No
there's
melta,
no
you're not
way
doing
I'm
it. Yeah,
splitting
yeah.
anything in
That's
my
fair.
life.
That's fair. That's fair. Sorry. So that you took a rough match into Imperial Knights, and how did it go?
I think it was what I
think you got a small loss.
Yeah, small loss.
13-7,
Like I said, just
something
off a few swings here and there. That's
Sure.
all it takes. And if you run out of steam, especially on Terraform, someone just kind of then terraforms right before the end and scores up kind
Gets
of
a
big.
bunch of points. Yeah.
Well, Knight is one of those matchups that can go sour like pretty easily.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you
I
start-
like 2-3 armigers get away on a single wound. It's like,
well, even
sucks.
with, like when I was playing World Eaters, like I put my MSU 8 bound into a Knight. They don't pick it up. Guess what? If it's a melee Knight, that squad of 8 bound is dead and that Knight's still alive.
Yeah.
And I only have
and
one way to kill it.
And then
so
if you draw like bring it down turn 1 and you're not ready to go yet. It's
Then
like,
you just get nothing.
no. And that's exactly what happened, right? So little things here and there chip away, and that is kind of the format. And knowing that can happen is a strength to playing teams, right?
Of course.
And then knowing how to, if things start to go bad, how to kind of play.
How to recover. How to play safe and not make it a big loss, make it a close loss or a tie or whatever, right? Yeah.
So I take that small loss, and then the rest of our games are all 17, 18, 19,
I was going to
20s.
say day 1 was very good for you guys. Day 1 you kind of dominated. So you won all 3 games on day 1 as a team.
Yeah, so we're feeling really good.
Going into day 2.
Going to day 2.
we don't talk about day 2.
Well, day 2, for those who haven't played teams events before, it is pretty common that you will get softer games in the first day. Like obviously first round's random, and then there's going to be like a bunch of winners, and they'll get kind of filtered through the winners.
That's
but
I actually disagree.
event.
No,
you
because
don't think day 2 is always going to be harder?
if we look at an RTT with like 32 players, you just kind of never have to play each other sometimes, right? And you end up with these 4 undefeateds. Whereas you have 5 rounds with, say, this round had 16 teams.
Right.
You more often than not, you actually, because 16 cuts to 8, 8 cuts to 4, 4 cuts to like 2 by the end of day 1. So if there's 4 good teams, you're guaranteed to play 1 to 2 of them almost on day 1.
I guess that's fair. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
It filters pretty quick.
Well, this is like a 16-player RTT.
But then on
basically.
day 2, I guess you're down to already 2 teams that are undefeated, and they just play each other.
No, actually, end of day 1, we were the only undefeated because draws are actually more common.
That's right.
team.
Draws do. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that's a very good point. With teams events, draws are much more common, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
With the size of your event, you only needed actual 4 rounds to get like a full undefeated, didn't you?
Well,
geez, someone better with
depending on it all depends on outcomes and if there's
16,
enough
8,
draws,
not
actually-
accounting for draws, obviously.
Yeah.
But
16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Yeah.
16, 8, 4, 2, 1. Okay, cool. So going to day 2, how did that go?
We then went on to go take 2 losses on day 2.
Right.
The 5th round was by a singular differential point.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
So when in 5 mans, we call it like the race to 55
Right.
for the team. That gets you the point. They got to 55 exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so a little unfortunate. I played Kazra from Art of War.
Oh, cool.
Round 5. Yeah, awesome guy. It's just such an awesome.
Sorry, what does he play?
Plays Ultramarines.
Okay.
Gorgeous art.
Was it just good Gladius stuff?
No, Stormlance with the Storm Raven
Oh.
carrying around some Centurion.
He always plays ultras, doesn't he? He's like
He's a real
ultras,
Ultra
That's his
fanboy.
thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Side tangent, him and I are very similar in kind of table etiquette in that, oh my God, we love our little like tokens and rulers and
Gotta have 'em.
keeping the table clean.
I'm also a
gotta-
very clean player.
Yeah, got to keep your table clean, Fraser. Holy crap. If
So-
There's like
haven't-
cards
If
everywhere.
people haven't played Fraser before, it's not the cards. You're okay with card management? It's
I'm not.
dice.
No, I'll figure out what
everywhere.
secondaries I have.
God.
'Cause there's like 10 face up.
Your side of the board is just
Seriously,
a sea of
like,
dice.
honestly, I don't know what kind of autism I have, but if I'm like, seriously,
All
but,
of it.
but
All
if
of
I'm
it.
like focusing on the game, my brain is like elsewhere. At one point I had 3 tape measures because I'd lose tape measures at the table.
Just grab
like I
one.
put stuff down and like my dice are everywhere. And then like at the end of the game I like zone out of like actually playing the game. And I'm like, my table looks like shit.
Future episode topic, we could bring in a like psychiatrist and
Oh
diagnose
Jesus!
this man.
Dude,
you can sit on the couch
I'm not,
and he can
I'm not
sit
even-
here.
Well, I don't know if anybody else, but every single
How is your relationship with your father?
Every single morning before I go to work, I have to look at my wallet, my keys for like 15 minutes.
Nice.
Because I'm like doing other stuff, and I just like hide them places for some reason, like subconsciously, and I just
Adam's not like that.
That's my brain.
Imagine Adam. So you're the opposite.
You know what's funny? We talk about that too. I think teams format really benefits having one of those guys who loves Excel and just like
a
yes, regimented,
100%.
Organized person.
You look like one of those guys. Sorry.
Someone's got to have it.
Come on
now.
do it.
Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to run
when
some
you guys
stats.
did your team episode, I was getting shit talked for doing this, but you
really?
need that guy.
Someone's
got to do it. Someone's got to be the team captain.
David, probably.
It was the two of you.
No, dude, I've literally never talked trash about anybody in my life.
Ladies, calm down.
I'm like
so you
the
played
nicest
into.
guy. I'm the nicest guy.
You played into a very strong player in Stormlands.
Yeah.
And how did that feel? Did you end up tying that one?
So I think both of us had it as drawish. No, I ended up losing 7-13 because this man just kept making 10-inch charges.
Stop asking.
And Gilliman kept
we're trying to close out the tournament, Fraser.
No. Obviously, there's mistakes there. Right, like we both kind of have these natural expansions, and on this particular table, it is extremely safe, except for things that can run through walls and come punch you.
Okay, got it.
So things like Calgar and Gilliman do that.
They punch you really hard, yeah.
So instead of giving him a 10-inch charge, it should have been warriors go out, sticky it, walk away.
Okay.
He doesn't have that springboard now.
Right, yeah.
So simple mistake
He
right
loses
there.
all that movement.
And all that takes, right? Like, so then that blocks a kill more and a hold more from me.
Yeah, but you gave him a 10-inch charge. I mean, I give people 10-inch charge all day. Like, that's fine. That's a good play.
Like
I'm saying, your options were, like you said, to sticky it and back off, or let him have the option of a 10-inch charge.
Yeah, the mistake was giving him the 10-inch charge.
I don't think that's a mistake at all. That's what I'm saying. I think that's just good play. I mean,
my magic number is like 11. I'm so scared.
It's got to be 11.
0% chance.
I guess so, or some percent.
Yeah,
if they didn't ever have to be there at all, then I guess fair enough. If it's not doing any good, then I suppose you're right.
So and then on that tipping point map, Cass identified it. Good for him.
Props to Cass. Love Cass.
The number one.
Shout out to our boy Cass.
Other Cass.
We love you, Cass. Oh shit.
No,
shout out to our Cass.
This is the problem. They ran into this problem all weekend.
There
was two Casses.
Not their Cass.
No. Our Cass. Not shout out. Unshouted.
Shout out both Casses.
Shout out both Casses.
He identified this is like the worst map in all of Warhammer for Votann.
Okay. Because
it's tipping point. It's gone in the new map pack.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
So we prayed for times like these.
Okay.
It's gone, but functionally, there's these two pieces of terrain that sit right at the center, that angle, and block right off the edge. And there's only like 2 deployment spots for your Hecaton land fortress to actually fit.
Right.
But they can still be shot turn 1. It's a nightmare.
Just bad, yeah.
So your bikes never get to go on the other side of the table.
Right.
You like really have to use your Berserkers for pushing. And so then they're kind of playing this double role of if someone is pushing into you hard, you have to use them for that, and then you're not pushing their expansion.
Right, you're trying to make space, but they're going to push you back, right?
It's a real nightmare map. But then Purge the Foe kind of helps bring that in.
Okay, Purge the Foe.
So
right,
a couple charges here and there can, it breaks those 2 or 3 differential points. Because, that one turn where he breaks kill more, hold more for me. Right. That's 8 points right there.
That's huge, yeah.
And maybe screws up one of my secondaries. That's 2 differential points right there.
Yeah.
So a 10-10 becomes a 12-8 instantly.
Right.
So it's little stuff like that, right? And then my other game that day was into this kind of skew. It was the Phalanx something.
Yeah, Obeisance Phalanx from Necrons.
Yeah, really cool detachment. Kind of slept on.
It super slept on. No one really plays it. It got buffed a while back, and still nobody played it. But I was curious to hear about this matchup. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, so same thing. We got another table where you actually did have a pretty safe expansion.
Okay.
So this was on Linchpin.
Okay.
So neither of us really got at each other's homes or at our expansions. We both kind of just sat, scored our 8s down the table, and then it came down to a secondary game.
Sure.
And the second player does get the advantage in holding. So he had a slightly better secondary game pull. I got second turn, a nice 10-10 draw. But very cool detachment. The -1 of damage matters a lot in Votann, right? Because I'm depending on my 2 damage bikes, my Mater autocannon, my bolt cannons.
And if I remember correctly, it's -1 damage just on vehicles.
Just on vehicles.
Right, but he's got stalkers and stuff.
It's stalkers.
Stalkers. No, it's a strat. It's a strat for -1 damage.
I was like, that sounds like reasonably good.
There is some good strats in there. The problem, it's a weird detachment. That's like
it's got like a kind of like a mini oaths thing for all.
Yep, basically that's the detachment rule. Is basically oath. You pick a target and all your, it's like Lich Guard, Triarch stuff. Like a bunch of stuff gets the oath.
Yeah. So that was that was a team from who came from Victoria.
Does it have feet in singles? Do you think?
Obeisance Phalanx? Probably not, only because Awakened and Star Shatter are way better.
Yeah.
Awakened's super good.
Bringing back a character in Wraith units is
it's very
like credit where credit's due. It was like a pretty well crafted list.
Yeah.
Designed for teams.
Sure.
Well piloted, right? So
yeah, that's awesome.
that's what's so awesome about teams. You can.
Do you remember what place that you guys did? Like as far as a team, like what was like 4th or 5th or something like that?
3rd or 4th, I believe.
Oh, was it okay? Nice.
Yeah,
Sick.
no, not bad in the end.
Love
but
no golden tickets for the boys yet.
no golden.
But they're
tickets for
coming.
boys
We
yet.
got chances. No problem. All
We're
good.
moving and grooving.
We're moving and grooving. We got tons.
We're when like in Dragon Ball Z when he's like in his Bactipod, like
He's in
preparing for the
his
next fight, that's us.
hyperbolic time chamber, just
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
ready. We're going to Namek. Yeah, that's the thing. He was traveling to Namek. Production, travel to Namek. he's like, get the fuck out of here. He's like,
Deep
not
ball
interested.
knowledge going on here.
We're going overtime.
We are over time, so we will wrap it up. But any final, like quick closing notes on the event, the what like lessons learned from pairings or factions. Closing thoughts.
Like I said, just I think we had a little bit of a blind spot in Knights, and it made us kind of have to play around matchups a little bit different, and maybe I think for the most part we did actually pair pretty well. Round 4, obviously, I think we had a mistake on one of they put down Creations of Bile as a defender, and we put Orcs and our Ultramarines in when I think it should be an Orcs and Custodes. Because we ended up with a Custodes mirror match that is dicey.
Sure.
And
for sure.
Just not fun to play.
Yeah.
So
okay. Very fair.
That was a bit of a mistake there.
With the access to the armies that each of your players had, do you think that you make any substitutions if you're going to like redo the event?
Good question. Different faction.
No, I think everyone was on what they were comfortable with.
Pretty solid,
yeah. I'm probably some 100+ games deep into Votann. Not Tim Schneider level of like thousands deep.
No one's quite like that.
Rookie numbers.
He's like, oh, look, it's a little baby.
Yeah. This guy's lost in the last 3 years.
And just like really proud of the Kelowna gang. Like it's a smaller community, but they're making big moves and getting people like out there and having fun.
There's a singles event out there later this year that's not even like half full yet, but it is 3 golden tickets.
Yeah.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, and then like awesome terrain and like I said, there's always growing pains, but they're handling it really well. So
love it.
Shout out to them, and then just loved getting to see all the BC guys out there.
100%. Yeah.
We were talking about XL guys. Like Liam was out there. He's a mastermind with XL and great asset for his team out there.
Yeah.
Cass, Stu, Brandon McKenzie,
Mid-table tactics.
Yeah,
Daniel
mid-table tactics. Yeah,
those guys.
So then Exploding Sixes from the island. Those guys played great. They took the event.
Right. That's right.
Well
That's
deserved. Alex McDougall was out there with team participant. With Tanya Gates, the War Mistress, plays out there.
Oh, sick! I forgot she was out there.
Lots of shout outs.
Dope.
Yeah,
it's nice kind of putting yourself in a different meta.
Yeah, completely different world. Seeing new people you've heard about but never played with, stuff like that.
Even in Edmonton, like a lot of them got like a lot of those guys come down for this event, but it's cool seeing like new people like the mid tables
for sure.
Yeah,
kind of.
It's a real shame for those Vancouver guys. They just don't have space like we do, like Ogre's Den. So shout out
that's
Ogre's
right.
Den.
Shout out Ogre's Den for being a dope spot.
And Sentry Box and Imaginary Wars for helping grow the community and
love it,
stuff like that. So
sweet. Well, I think that about wraps us.
Yeah,
Mr. Adam Green, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, hopefully you guys have me around more.
Never again.
we could have Adam
you
on
guys
again.
think I'm handsome and really well spoken.
Yeah.
When you start playing
Put
Eldar
in the
again,
comments.
we'll have you in for the Eldar faction focus. We'll kick Fraser out of here, and we'll get.
We've already had like 3 Yanari episodes.
We've had 4 Yanari episodes.
Every episode just turns into a Yanari conversation at some point, or Emperor's Children at some point.
I'll play Emperor's Children once they're good.
There you go.
Once they're broken, I'll play
He'll
them.
chase that meta when that meta arrives.
I just have the box ahead of time, so I've always been an Emperor's
maybe we
Children
can
fan.
revisit Guard now that they've had some changes in the codex.
That's a good idea. I'd like to do that a lot, actually. That's a good idea.
Yeah, everyone loves Guard.
No.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Adam Green. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Fraser.
Always. Well, every other week, always.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts?
No.
Loves
Kinda,
it.
Yeah, whatever.
Easy peasy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Bloodbath Tactics. Don't you ever forget to like, comment, subscribe, and
Please consider.
What do you do to the notification bell, Adam?
You smash it.
You smash the notification bell. You punch it so you never miss an episode of Bloodbath Tactics. Peace out,
guys.
boys.